Okay, this is just some extra work stratifying the sand that they sent me. You can see what we're ending up with here. Nice stuff. A little bit of small rock in it, but if you're spreading, you know, a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick layer of plaster cement by hand, that doesn't, these little rocks don't bother me at all. So this is what we're getting out of it. This is just pea gravel. So okay. So these rocks right here that show up, those fall through the 1/4 inch screen. These obviously do not. And most of the time these aren't a pain, but they do show up, and it just spreads so much smoother with this concentration, or this whatever you call this grade of stratification there. So yeah, I wish I'd bought better sand so I didn't have to do this, but I don't have a ton of cement plaster to spread, so this just takes a few minutes, 20 minutes to fill this, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to fill this, and then I'm done for the day. So, and this may be my last cement plaster that I'm spreading on the inside at least. So I'll have a few things to do on the outside, of course, so I'll have to do 2 or 3 more of these buckets is my guess. A little bit of a pain, but lesson learned. Okay, let me just make a quick note about setup of your supplies, your sand pile, your cement mixer, whatever you're doing. I still haven't figured it out, but I'm learning that trying to organize myself makes a bigger difference in my day, how fast I can get stuff done. The more I can get done, and the less fatigued I am because I'm making things easier on myself. One of the things is I put a splitter on my main hose, so I have a hose coming in here, I have a hose going out there to the cement mixer. So this splitter, I can come in here, I can just mist, right? I can mist my wall, and then I can spread my plaster, and then I'm not dragging a hose in and out every time I come in and out with a wheelbarrow of cement. So I've learned that it's easier to, that way you can wheelbarrow your stuff pretty easily a decent distance. But trying to move each load of sand into here from over there and bringing it around here, this is where I have my cement, and this is where I am lifting these bags sometimes, dumping a whole bag in there. And so I want the cement mixer close to where I have my bags because I don't want to be carrying those very far. The other thing is if you can elevate these bags in any way so you're not bending over every time to pick up a bag, like if you can elevate it on some cinder blocks or something, that makes a huge difference. If you can like pick them up at your waist height and then bring them over, and then I used to leave them in my pickup on my tailgate, and then I just pull them off my tailgate. That was made a lot easier. The other thing that makes it easier is not using a 5-gallon bucket like that one over there to scoop up your sand or pour your cement in or try to make your mixtures of 1 to 3 or however you're making your concentrations. I'm using these 2.5-gallon buckets, and they're just a couple bucks at Ace Hardware, and I have a few of them, and so I'm putting, you know, 3 sands and 1 of these in cement, and they're not very heavy at all. They're easy to work with, and I make like 2 mixes of those, and then I pour it in the wheelbarrow, and that's enough for me to spread for an hour or so. I'm also using these basalt, whatever you say, fiber. This is structural concrete fibers. They're 25 millimeter. They're a little big, I think. Really, I bought these for the can wall, but I'm just throwing them into the mix of where I'm spreading the cement plaster. And the cement plaster, they do show up a little bit, but it's not something that you can't pick out later. But one of the concrete guys I was talking about says if you put in the right concentration, it's almost like you don't need rebar. And you can see this all had basalt. There's a piece right there, you can see it. Okay, so in Earthship Biotexture, they used to throw straw in their cob, and you'd see a little piece of straw here and there in the finished walls, and it's kind of cool. But it actually gives the concrete more, there's one right there too. It actually gives the concrete more structure and strength. And so we're definitely using it where we're building this can wall, because I definitely want to use it because I want this wall to be as strong as possible. The concentration's a little bit, I think everybody has their own ideas of what you should do, but this bag that I bought is, let's see how many pounds it is. This is, you're supposed to throw in 1 yard of concrete. 3 pounds. So it's 3 pounds, and you're supposed to throw this in 1 yard of concrete. I don't know, I have no idea how much I'm mixing here, how close. It's not even close to a part of a yard, obviously, but it's just a fraction of a yard. So I'm just taking like a handful and then kind of spreading it as it's mixing, dropping it in there as it's pretty wet. And so it diffuses, spreads out pretty easily and diffuses throughout the whole mixture pretty easily. And so it's not just one big clump that I throw in there and mix it around a couple times. Make sure it spreads out. Don't put your hand in here and get it caught in this, though. I'm trying to be real careful and not get my hand caught in this, because that'll break your fingers for sure. Okay, let's mix up some.
Just real quick, made some good headway today. Yeah, got the whole second coat on all the way around, from that window all the way around to this side, all up on the top of the edge. It's nice and irregular, just like I want it. Finger streaks, hand streaks, little edges where it's kind of flaky. You can see the undulations of the tire bales. And I like this look. This is what I was going for. Okay, and this top shelf got finished as well. So this is about 3/8 thick, probably on average up here. It's not floated perfectly. You can still see some trowel streaks in it, but it's fairly flat. It came out a lot flatter than I thought it was going to be, so I'm pretty happy with it. There are a couple of issues as far as this back gap here goes. There's a gap where the wood didn't quite touch, and I put concrete in there, it would just fall back. So I'm gonna have to fill that with great stuff or silicone or something like that. Caulk, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, so this will be a nice shelf. My wife will be able to put plants up here, small potted plants that maybe we'll drape over the walls here. She's gonna be watering up here, so some water's gonna get up here, and that's why I didn't want to just leave this wood. I wanted to go ahead and make it cement, so if some water did spill on it, that would help kind of contain it and keep it from going right into the wood. Yeah. So that's that. So just a quick estimate on what this took me as far as time goes and materials. I did pay attention this time how many bags of cement I used. So my wife and I did this section right here, around to here, and you can kind of see where it's wet here, but it's dry here. So we did this, and we did it in about 45 minutes. With me mixing and her spreading and me spreading, it took us about 45 minutes to do this little part. So we're going to add that to the 4 hours it took me to do all the rest of this today. So we're going to say 5 hours for this whole wall, and basically with one person doing it, with my wife helping me a little bit on this section. So about 5 hours for this whole wall. This is 35 feet, about 35 feet from this door jamb, wraps around, goes along here, wraps back around to that window. Now that's excluding all of this, obviously, and the can wall, but this back wall, second coat, took me about 5 hours. Mostly with just one person working on it, mixing the sand, of course I was stratifying the sand too, so I was sifting the sand, mixing the cement in the cement mixer, bringing it in here, spreading it on, repeating it. That was with a couple breaks to stop to get a couple drinks and to cool off. And so yeah, it went much faster than I thought it was. I had no idea I'd get all this done today. So, and I'm not even drinking Red Bull. It's crazy. The other thing is, it took 3 bags of cement from here to over there to do this 35 feet and 8 feet tall. I don't know what that means. If you want to do the math, how many bags of cement, I don't know. It depends on how thick you put it on and all that stuff, I'm sure too. But one thickness, which this is about 3/8 of thick on average as well. A little thicker than quarter. Some places it's half, some places it's quarter, but 3/8 on average. Yeah. 3 bags of Portland cement, 90-pound bags. Of the 90-pound bags, 3 bags of it. So, and of course that doesn't count sand, but so that's one coat for this back wall. So pretty excited about that. One quick note on this vent. It kind of scared me today. I hadn't been out here when it opened before, but I was working over here and I heard this bam, and I thought, it almost sounded like a window broke. It was that loud, and I was looking at all the windows thinking a window cracked or what happened, did a piece of wood bust off, I don't know. And then I realized the vent had popped open, and it was right about 76 degrees at that time. When I looked at the thing, it said 77, and it's actually 77 right now. But that was this morning when it had warmed up enough and got 77 up there, or right around that 77 here. That's about when it popped open. So this isn't a gradual thing like, it's going to open slow. It's like loads and loads and loads the spring, and when it overcomes the tension on the spring, it just pops open. So kind of freaked me out a little bit. But if you get those, don't let it scare you. I think what I'm gonna have to do is go ahead and buy another one, because it's getting to 90 in here already, and it's not even summertime yet. This is April something, late April. I don't even know the date right now. But we're gonna have to put another vent in here. I thought this would be enough, because this is about 13 inches right here across, and this diameter of this culvert, and this is 12 inches square, this vent, and I thought that about matches that, so that should be enough to keep up with the flow of air through here. Should be able to take that same volume of air out. But when we have the door open here, it stays a lot cooler. It's been in the 70s. I think it hit 80 today with the door open. So that was as hot as it got in here. And if the door's closed, it's hot. It hit 90, I think, yesterday, my wife said. So we got to put another vent in there is the bottom line. Okay.